Could the most confusing roster decision of the offseason actually be the smartest move? Nobody saw coming. Just when we thought we had the Atlanta Falcons safety situation figured out, the front office pulled off a head-scratching maneuver that has everyone questioning what they really know about this team's defensive plans. Let me paint you the picture of how wild this sequence of events has been. On Tuesday, the Falcons announced their roster cuts, and veteran safety Jordan Fuller was among the casualties. Fans scratched their heads. Analysts questioned the decision, and it seemed like another case of Atlanta making moves that didn't quite make sense. Fast forward just a few days, and suddenly Fuller is back on the active roster, signed to the 53-man squad like nothing ever happened. This isn't just your typical practice squad elevation or injury replacement signing. This is the Falcons essentially admitting they made a mistake and immediately correcting it. When was the last time you saw an NFL team cut a player and then bring him back to the active roster within days? It's almost unheard of, and it raises serious questions about what's really happening behind the scenes in Flowery Branch. Here's what makes this situation even more intriguing. Fuller wasn't just some camp body fighting for a roster spot. This is a proven veteran who won a Super Bowl with Raheem Morris back in 2021 when they were both in Los Angeles. We're talking about a player who started 48 games over 4 seasons with the Rams, recording 179 tackles, 17 pass defenses, 7 interceptions, and for forced fumbles. That's not developmental potential, that's established NFL production. The connection between Fuller and Morris can't be understated here. When you've got a defensive coordinator who trusts a player enough to feature him in a championship defense, that relationship carries weight. Morris knows exactly what Fuller brings to the table, and more importantly, he knows how to utilize those skills within his defensive system. What's fascinating is how this move impacts the entire safety depth chart. Before we drafted Xavier Watts in the 3rd round, Fuller was expected to start opposite Jesse Bates 3 from day one. Even after Watts joined the team, Fuller remained a consistent presence with the first-team defense throughout training camp. The fact that he was a surprise cut suggests there might have been some behind-the-scenes maneuvering going on that we're not privy to. Jesse Bates' comments about Fuller are particularly telling. These guys have history. They've been training together at 6 a.m., building that chemistry that's so crucial in the secondary. When Bates says he knows everything about Jordan and describes him as not just a great football player, but an impressive person from an impressive family, that speaks to the kind of character and professionalism Fuller brings to the locker room. From a schematic standpoint, Fuller fits perfectly into what Morris wants to do defensively. He's comfortable in zone coverage and functions best as a deep safety, which is exactly what you need when you're trying to prevent big plays and keep everything in front of you. His 2023 numbers back that up. According to Next Gen Stats, he forced a tight window throw on 26% of passes into his territory, which was the 2nd highest rate among safeties league-wide. That's elite-level coverage ability. The injury history is something to monitor, though. Fuller missed almost half of the 2024 season with a hamstring injury while playing for Carolina, which raises legitimate questions about his durability moving forward. But sometimes injured veterans can be exactly what you need. They're motivated to prove they're healthy, they're hungry for opportunities, and they often play with a sense of urgency that younger players don't always possess. Looking at his preseason usage provides some clues about where the coaching staff sees him fitting in. 48 defensive snaps across the first 2 preseason games, then completely shut down for the finale. That suggests they were evaluating him early, like what they saw enough to feel comfortable resting him, and then had to navigate some roster gymnastics to get him back on the team. The timing of this signing is particularly interesting given our other recent moves. We just placed 2nd-year defender Braylon Trice on injured reserve and added offensive tackle Michael Jarrell from Seattle. It's clear that Terry Fontenot and his staff are being aggressive about optimizing this roster, making moves to address weaknesses and add depth where it's needed most. This move also sends a message about organizational philosophy. We're not content to just roll with what we have. We're actively looking for ways to improve, even if it means admitting we made a mistake and course-correcting quickly. That kind of flexibility and willingness to adapt is exactly what championship organizations do. The safety position has been a revolving door for this franchise over the past few years, and having established veterans like Bates and Fuller provides the kind of stability that can anchor an entire secondary. When you've got the players who have proven they can play at the highest level, It allows everyone else around them to be more aggressive and take calculated risks. What this really comes down to is depth and insurance. The NFL season is a war of attrition, and having players like Fuller who can step in and contribute immediately if injuries occur is invaluable. We've seen too many seasons derailed by depth issues at crucial positions, and this signing suggests the front office is taking a proactive approach to avoiding those problems. The relationship with Mars can't be emphasized enough. When a coordinator has a player he trusts implicitly, someone who understands his system and can help communicate with younger players, that's worth its weight in gold. Fuller isn't just adding talent to the roster. He's adding institutional knowledge and leadership that could be crucial as this defense develops throughout the season. This is exactly the kind of under-the-radar move that could end up being huge for our success this year. Sometimes the signings that don't make headlines are the ones that make the biggest difference when games are on the line. What do you think about bringing Fuller back, Falcons fans? Is this the kind of veteran presence our secondary needs? Or are you concerned about the mixed messages this sends about our roster evaluation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button if you appreciate the front office being willing to admit mistakes and make corrections quickly. Sometimes the best moves are the ones that fix problems before they become bigger issues.